Hope you guys don't mind. Okay, so what we'll look at today, I'm going to show you how live assessment looks, and then hopefully after that we'll have a bit of time for you guys to try designing your own template just to get a feel for how that looks, and then also the the sort of more administrative element of setting up the live assessment. We will spend the most time on the first and the second of these. So let's get started. Ooh, we don't need that one yet. I'm going to switch screens now and show you a workspace. Give me just a moment. Okay, does everyone see an Atlas workspace now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, looking good. Okay, so this is shouldn't look too scary to all our attendees, I hope. This is a straightforward workspace with I'm on the submissions tab and I've got my assignments. I've set up already a live assessment, what we call in Pebble speak an assessor-initiated assignment. So normally we get the students to do some work and submit it to us and we give comments. In this case, the assessor initiates the assignment when the student is standing in front of them. So assessor-initiated. I've set up an assessor-initiated assignment, and you might notice something different. When you're in a normal assignment, you see the submitted work, the pieces of student work here, and your feedback, etc. When you're in an assessor-initiated assignment, you just see a list of names of all your students. And we have these buttons on the right to start an assessment for them. So I've made a set for just this group. Any brave volunteer happy for me to assess them? Oh, Beck raised her hand. Okay, I'm going to assess Beck. So I go to my list. I could start typing Beck's name in here if I wanted, or I could also figure it out by group. I find Beck in my list and I go to start assessment. What happens is that Firefox presents a window from opening. Oh, Firefox, how we love you. So much like as you're used to in PebblePad anyway, I've still got on the main tab here, my main Atlas workspace, and then the next tab over, this is the assessment for Beck. So this is a sheet that I designed to assess the student. I looks like I'm assessing Beck on her fire lighting skills with this one. So I've made some drop-down menus. The student is doing this thing. I don't know, maybe if I zoom in on here, if you can see, you can set all of the regular stuff you would in any template in PebblePad. You can also, link out to web pages, etc. So something that might help the assessors, or later when the student sees it, understand. So I included a hyperlink, for example, here to Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, always handy for assessment. I assessed the students. Made me cry, but in a good way. Give them an overall
I would accept
mark.
nothing less.
Yes, I forget that I'm, and all the regular features that you are used to in designing a. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll raise my hand properly for double consideration, second marking type things here.
Yes.
So what I would expect to see normally, just because that's like the worksheet we have for OSCES and things, that's the criteria we're looking at. Normally I would expect to see kind of comments from two assessors or a verification in that. Would that go as a different workbook, or would you just pop it in here, or is there a background process you can stick in?
Good question. Yeah, it's kind of the options for whatever are there. You can design it so that it's all on this one form, and you could have, box for commentator 1, box for commentator 2. You could make this be just for the assessor, and then make use of your regular feedback features, which still exist over here, approvals, additional feedback, etc. So if it just needs to be that someone looks at it and says, yes, I agree with the assessor mark, what you might do is keep this sheet, this template, a single page resource in PebblePad, nice and clean, so that while they're there trying to mark the student and watch them doing things, there's not a lot that they see, and that later someone goes in and gives the the approval or whatever as they wish over here. So as with everything with PebblePad, there's a lot of options, and we can talk about how you want to design it.
Sorry, it's only just because I'm thinking of the couple of different use cases now. So in an OSCE, this would be fine, and using the feedback that way would be good. In presentations, what we tend to have is 2 or 3 members of staff watching the same presentation, making their own comments, and then we try and amalgamate things. Is it possible to do that with worksheets?
Yeah. So that what you might do is make a workbook of 3 of the same template for assessor 1, assessor 2, assessor 3. You might make a template with 3 different boxes in, but then we'd have to be very clear who's doing what. Or you might have three different assignments and combine. My guess would be the best choice there would probably be a workbook with a part in the workbook for each. But that's again something where we'd have to look into the granular detail of what you're doing and design it in the best way. Yeah.
Okay, sorry for derailing, but thanks.
No worries. Hopefully that's other people who could get an idea of ideas for themselves from that. Just showing you all these features. We can design these however you wish. As I note here, this is a basic template. So all that other stuff you can do, like adding, pictures like this lovely lady here, or, text of instructions, links to a handbook, videos or guides, whatever. You could put that into this assessor sheet if you wanted to. This could either be assessor directed or student directed, or a bit of both. You can put that in. When I've gone through and marked back and said, okay, accuracy of performance, beauty of performance, obviously I'm just making very generic categories here, I then click save. And what we see here is now it's been time-stamped. This was assessed by whoever was signed in and doing it, me at this time on this date, right? If I need to go back and change it, that would show up in the history. First it was this, then it was this. So basically everything is recorded, and kind of removes the need to add in the instructor name, the teacher name. If you can think of a situation where you're using a paper-based document, all that stuff you have to fill in, that's automatically done by the system. So I'm done with assessing Beck now. Very, very wonderful thing one that you did there, Beck. And I can close this tab and go back to my main page where all the students are listed. And if you notice what's happened here, with Beck, the assessment was started, and I get the date now because I clicked save. It's been released. If I want to go back in and change something, I could continue the assessment, open it up back here and go back to that. Or I can just find the next student. Let's take Darren and start his assessment, for example. What's going to happen when I do this? I'll just quickly give something, Darren, so you'll have yours. Let's give you full marks. Strong pass. Sorry, pass. And I save that there. It's again time-stamped. Both these students, if I've set the release features, will now have that template in their asset store. They won't be able to change it, but they will have a record of the feedback that they've gotten. They can see it. So they could use that in their reflection, in their portfolio, whatever, or just see it if necessary. When I want to get an overview of the whole cohort, rather than looking at, this is my list for who I need to assess and who's done, there's a tab next to it called submissions here. And this is where I see the actual list, the actual filled in templates. So I can see if there were grades, they would show up here. This is like your dashboard view that you're used to from regular assignments. If I want to run reports on them, I can do that the same as I would normally in PebblePad. So let's just see. Here's my reports. Let's just see. Accuracy of performance. So 2 are at, what did I say? Absolute. Two are almost perfect, and 1 is perfect. Great. You know. So this is just compiling the data in there. Oh, you can see I marked me earlier. It was all poop. Yes. Okay. Much like you're used to. The difference is that you've kind of got 2 tabs to think about. Your list of who's in front of you and you're going to start assessing them, and then your list of the filled in sheets with the assessment on, which you can run reports on as regular. Okay, I'm going to pause there. Any kind of, and let me look over. Any questions so far? Does that, anything we need to look back on? Everyone good? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. Gosh, easier than I thought. Let me just see. Good. Right. So in short, that's how it looks like once I've set it up. That's how I manage it from Atlas. Let's look a little bit now about setting it up. So this sheet that I made, here's, for example, again, the one that I used with Darren. Well, I used with the whole cohort. Yes, lead page. I had to make this template over in Pebble Plus and then attach it to this assignment. Much the way with the other kind, you make, say, a workbook or a template, and you attach it to an assignment, but the student submits it. So exactly the same, just assessor initiated. To design a template, actually, let's see, quick show of hands. How many people have designed a template or workbook?
If it was possible to do half, I would do half. I've had a go. I wouldn't say I've succeeded.
Okay, all right. So that's 2.5, and Darren, you haven't had to play with this yet, so now is a good time.
I'm not particularly a PebblePad user.
Okay, all right. So as a not particularly a PebblePad user, has this scared you off yet, looking at the Atlas side, or do you think that this could work with your students and staff?
No, it looks fine. It looks fairly straightforward. It's intriguing.
Okay, we'll go with intriguing. So let's look now at how we design this sheet that we had the assessors use. Again, you can design it in any way you wish. So the questions Beck was bringing up earlier, that's really a kind of now about the pedagogic decisions plus what you can and can't do in the platform. And I'm happy to help with that. So I'm going to leave Atlas and go over here to my Pebble Plus. In your Pebble Plus is where you will design templates, workbooks, things that the students use, things that the assessors use. So to design a template, it's actually a little hidden away. You can search all through these handy buttons and you won't find it because it's not there. It's pretty rare that students need to design templates or workbooks. So it's actually hidden, not on the main menu, but over in the burger menu at the top here, so-called because I guess it looks like a stylized burger, under Get Creative, which has the same options as on the main page, and then these 2 secret ones, create a workbook and create a template. What you do is you select create a template, and then you get your totally blank page to start building as you want. So pick an image if you wish, or remove the banner entirely. From your add content, a key thing to remember, this first menu, popular, all these choices here, this is for me to get information from the student, or in this case, from the assessor. I want them to pick one from many, many from many, etc. And then hints, this is to give information to the person accessing it, whether that's the student or assessor. These other ones, you're probably not going to play around too much with, because we cannot as yet make them be assessor only, which you need to do for this template. I'll show you what I mean. So let's put a okay. All right. I'm going to make this be a yes or no option, right? No leeway here. What I need to do to this block, as it's called, I can just go ahead and build it as I want, and then come back to the block, and hidden away in this properties at the top right here, if I select the block, I get some additional options that I can do with it. I can, play around, make it display horizontally. Actually, I prefer that, it's simpler. Hide unselected, add a chance for someone to attach some evidence, all of these nice fun things that maybe you need to use. And then important for the webinar today is, under these options, you need to select to be completed by assessor, right? That's what's going to make it be able to be filled in by the teacher and not by the student. If you don't select that, and then the teacher pulls it up as doing what I just did, the teacher won't actually be able to make any mark in it. So every block needs to be completed by assessor if the assessor is going to fill it out, which is why some of these fancier ones, like rubrics, that doesn't have, I'll just show you if I put in a rubric there. Very nice. That does not have the option yet to make it be assessor only. Rubrics are designed to be used via the feedback feature or by the student, so it's not particularly necessary. So in terms of what you're designing, you're probably going to be pretty much using these options, or maybe you want to give some information to the student or the teacher. You might use this one. This is non-editable stuff that's just going to be in there. I'm just having a play now. I don't think I have very nice pictures. Let's put the girl with fire back in. Yeah. Okay, so here is my template, which I of course would save with a, this category, by the way, doesn't really matter too much. Just don't make it be a feedback one at this point. Just call it, experience, reflection, whatever. You'd save it with a title that you're going to remember. And we will now use it when it's ready in the assignment, which I'll show you for the third part of this webinar. So what I'd like to do now, just a sort of very quick review, I'm going to exit without saying, you log into your Pebble Plus, you go to the burger menu, get creative, create a template, start making something that makes sense for an assessment you know of in your module, your program, etc. by adding content. Make sure that anything the assessor will fill out under properties is marked as to be completed by an assessor. So can everyone now, in a separate window or tab, go give it a try?